This show is a Rochester podcast production. For advertising information, please contact us at rochesterpodcastnetwork@gmail.com. What's going on, everybody? Welcome back to the Chris Konya Show. Thank you so much for checking out all the previous episodes, including the very popular CBD episode last week. Kind of a theme going here. You could guess the theme. I won't spell it out for you, but I'm excited for today's guest. His company has made a humongous splash on social media, especially in the Rochester area. He's been covered by the news. His Instagram stories are epic and in high demand to see them first, and you'll find out why. We'll explain it all. We'll get into it. But I'm very excited to welcome Adam.
Yep.
I almost said Andy. You know that. I almost said
Right.
it. You told me 4 times.
Cool.
Adam, we just met in person today, but Adam from Chicken Out Rock. You could follow their Instagram at Chicken Out Rock. It's at the bottom of the screen here too if you're watching the video. Adam, thanks so much for coming in.
Pleasure, man. Thanks for having me.
Dude, you are blowing up. Make sure you're nice and close to the mic. It's, we're still trying to figure out. I don't have a producer to monitor it the whole
That's
time.
all right,
so
man.
about an
Let's
inch
do
away
it.
would be great. But thanks for coming in.
Yeah, thanks for having me. Seriously, pleasure.
You are your company is blowing up on social media.
Yeah, it's been kind of crazy. I've been working pretty hard the last several months promoting everything through social media, especially the Instagram platform, and it's a fun, interactive thing, and it's been taking off. So
I want to hear the whole story, but I want to explain to you how I came about seeing all your stuff.
Sure.
I haven't had the pleasure yet of having your product.
Yeah.
I know I'm a big fan of chicken, and that's what you do.
Yeah.
Joe Zolnarowski from Nosh, who actually does a podcast here sometimes called Food Fight.
Yep.
He posted it, and he what's it called? Endorsed basically what you're doing, and I was like, oh, this must be something. So
Yeah, that's a true honor. If I get Joe's blessing, we're doing okay.
I followed your Instagram, and basically you are for right now, a pop-up chicken place.
Correct. Yep. A pop-up style kitchen.
So can you explain what that is and your story, and just give me everything? I want to hear it all.
Yeah. So I moved back to Rochester 2 years ago, almost now. I was living in Brooklyn for the last 7 years with my wife. Just had my 3rd kid a few weeks ago.
Congrats, man. Wow.
Yeah. So life is crazy. Long story short, I live next door to a really dope fried chicken spot in Brooklyn. We would come back here and visit. And I was like, where do you eat fried chicken up here? There was nothing. It's KFC or Popeyes. It seemed like the trending dish. Everybody was, trying to do their version of the dish, but nobody was dedicating their menu to just fried chicken. So I thought there was an opportunity there. And I essentially took a year and a half, almost 2 years, to develop on a recipe. I test fried chicken every single way you could do it. I traveled the country. I ate at every restaurant you possibly could here in Rochester just to see what was out there. And I kind of crammed everything I loved about fried chicken into one recipe. And here we are.
And from what I see, it's doing rather well, as we mentioned. So explain, when somebody opens a restaurant or tries to serve food, it's either on a food truck, they have a little brick and mortar, maybe like a meal delivery service of some sort.
Right.
What are you doing?
So we started with a pop-up model essentially just to see if I knew what I was doing, if I had a good product, and if there was a demand for that product. I never wanted to be a food truck. I can't say for certain that we won't go down that road. But the pop-up style concept was just a fun way to introduce the product, kind of build the brand, build the following. And then, it's been about 7 months. We've done 36 or 37 pop-ups so far. And we're having so much fun with it. We're going to maybe continue this for a little bit as we build on the back end.
So what does a pop-up mean? Does that mean like you're at a random shopping center, or you go and get into a bar's kitchen, let's say, and make your chicken? Explain it to me, because I don't think pop-ups are very common around here. I know that maybe down in Brooklyn it happens all the time. There's pop-up food, pop-up shows, Pop-up concerts.
Yeah.
What is, pretend I don't know anything. What's the pop-up concept from your end? Instead of, because as a consumer, you just hear, okay, be here, get this product at this time, but what does it look like on the back end, getting it ready?
Well, I mean, there's a tremendous amount of prep in everything that we do, because everything is, made fresh daily. However, the pop-up style was, again, a way to prove it. So instead of putting up all the money to build out a brick and mortar or even a truck, because those aren't cheap.
No.
Trying to figure out a way that we could deliver our food to the public and test the model without committing to all these financial obligations. So my brother owns the Blossom Road Pub.
What's his name?
His name is Marcus
Oh,
Lanier.
okay, Marcus. I think I know Drew, who's involved.
Drew, he's also a good buddy.
From
so
Rome, right?
Yeah,
Okay,
exactly.
yeah. That local stuff, in case you're not from here.
Yeah. So Marcus and Drew were kind enough to let me test fry in their kitchen. So I spent a year test frying in a bigger fryer because, I started at home. I was frying. My wife would always yell at me because the house smells like fried chicken.
Which at first is probably awesome, but after months and months and months of it, you're probably
She had enough. So I wanted to figure out how I could do it in volume. So I was doing little pieces at a time, half a bird at a time. Anyway, long story short, I started test frying there, and it was like, why not do a pop-up and just see what happens? So we used that location as our first pop-up, and we actually currently still pop up there once a week. Our Thursday pop-ups are there almost every single week. And it's crazy over there. So beware. But we've jumped around. We've done one at Dickie's Corner Pub in the South Wedge. We've been at East End Tavern. We did the Rock Holiday Village. We kind of jump around, and this whole catch us if you can model has been pretty fun.
Brilliant.
Yeah.
It's very brilliant.
So yeah, I knew I had a good recipe. I knew I had, a decent brand, but I wanted to make it more about just food. I wanted it to make, the whole experience. You come in, obviously the food is good. I want the service to be good, the music, the lighting, the atmosphere, everything, that's all of the senses is what I wanted to, play into.
So let me ask you this. If a chain like the distillery, which again is local here in Rochester, comes to you and goes, we want to buy your recipe. We want to put you in every distillery. You think you'd be able to give up the life of Catch Me If You Can, the cool kind of trendy. This is not only awesome chicken, but it's fun and cool to do. Because I know you do some promotions, and we'll get to that.
Yep.
If they wanted to buy your recipe, do you think you'd go into that meeting emotional about it or strictly business? And you don't have to tell me numbers or anything, but
no, I think it's too early. We've only just begun.
It's still fun.
Yeah. I mean, I'm killing myself doing it, especially with my family life. Having 3 kids and trying to start a business is definitely not the easiest. But we're doing it and we're having fun. We're building. I have a whole bunch of ideas that I want to introduce and new menu items. And our recipe is our recipe. I would like to think it's fairly proprietary, but I'm definitely not selling the recipe locally anytime soon. The idea would be maybe to build this into a bigger brand, more locations.
Cool.
And then we can talk about a buyout maybe down
Very
the road.
cool. Let's talk about those promotions you do. We'll plug the hell out of the Instagram. Not that it needs it, because it's awesome. I see posts on your Instagram every couple days. It seems 5,000 followers, 6,000. And you're just climbing like that.
Yeah.
What are these cool little Catch Me If You Can? I like that phrase. Promotions that you're doing.
So again, before we even did a pop-up, I started writing the business plan in Brooklyn with my second child on my chest, and it's just like this was a way for me to cram all my business experience into one model. And I had this idea that you would hide golden eggs around the city, and if you found them, you would get free food and special treatment at the pop-up. So it's kind of stuck with our brand, and we hide golden eggs every single Thursday, if not more. They're always within the city limits of Rochester, New York. And if you find an egg, you post it to your feeder stores, tag us, and that qualifies you for one free plate, small plate or tenders, and you get to jump the entire line, which actually becomes more valuable than the free food at this point.
You should get like a crown and really make them feel. That's pretty cool.
Yeah.
It's not something that it's gonna cost you much, right? It's a little bit of food, and it's fun, and it kind of, it's like a positive thing that happens in the city. It sounds corny to say that, but when you hear about the city of Rochester, what's the first thing you think of? The violence and the drugs and stuff like that. But the fact that you can run around trying to catch golden eggs for free food is pretty cool.
Oh, yeah. And we hide them everywhere. The idea was maybe to cross-promote other local brands and businesses, and we've done that. We've hit them all the way on Avenue D. We try to switch it up and make it fun, but it's become part of the brand, and it's been cool. So this is just the beginning.
Would you say 7 months in, roughly?
Yeah, about 7 or 8 months. About once a week we've been popping up, a little bit more than that. And yeah, I mean, it's been crazy.
Is there something that you did and you look back on, you're like, why did I do that? Or why didn't I go all in on this in the beginning? Or you think you're just, knock on wood, lucky so far?
Yeah, I mean, luck has definitely been a part of it. I think the fact that we have a good product, a good brand, and it's fun, that, there's a lot of hard work that goes behind what we do. We're not taking chicken out of a box and throwing it in flour. There's a lot more love and attention to everything that we do. Our sauces, everything is made in-house daily. So that is, I was looking at this business from more of a consumer's perspective than a business. Like, yes, we're in the business to make money, but what do I want as a consumer here in Rochester? How do I want the food to taste? How do I want the experience to be?
Sure.
And that's the way we're pushing.
Do you think that, and I think I already have my answer on this, but do you think that Rochester is special in a city where this might not work in a big city like Brooklyn because of maybe the saturation of the market? But I think Rochester, I think you kind of get the best of both worlds if you feed the part of the city and community that you should. You know what
Sure.
I mean? It's a small city, but it has kind of a big city mentality, if that's the right word. Do you think that this is working so well here because of the special qualities of Rochester?
I would like to say so, yes. I mean, again, I moved back from Brooklyn, back from a really big city and a saturated market, like you're saying. So it would have been tough to make a splash like we're making in New York or in LA or something like that. So getting our foothold here is great. Like I said, I was born and raised here, so I do have some ties and, know a lot of people. So that's been very helpful. We've gotten, tremendous support from local businesses and just the entire community. So,
How old are you, if you don't mind?
I'm 36.
36. So what was the path to get to Pop-Up Fried Chicken? What was, did you come out of high school and be like, I know what I want to do? Chicken, baby.
No, definitely not. I knew, actually, I had the name Chicken Out probably since I was 18. It was probably right after high school. I just thought it was an awesome name. I'm like a serial entrepreneur. I've started many businesses. I'm always like trying to create new stuff, and branding and marketing is really what I love to do. And so I had the name Chicken Out for a fried chicken business, but absolutely no intention or know-how of that business.
Did you want to do it yourself, or you wanted to sell the brand or the name, or like a .com thing?
Yeah, no, I mean, I just love names, and like I'll eat up domain names and stuff like
Sure.
that. I just buy websites just because I think they're cool.
I bought my friends and I spent a summer taking Jenny Light and putting a lime in it to be fancier. Like as a joke at first, like the face on a bartender where you're like, can I have a lime with my Jenny Light? They're like, are you serious?
Right.
It's a $2 beer. Like, yes. And make sure it's a fresh lime.
Yeah.
I bought JennyLightLime.com just in case Genesee decided to make Jenny Light limes. So I hear what you're saying. I go on GoDaddy and stuff and see if it's available all the time.
First year's $1. Yeah, why not? It's definitely worth it.
Yeah. So then eventually you this came to fruition.
Yeah, so I mean, I didn't buy the domain or anything, and I still don't own chickenout.com. It's chickenoutrock.com is our website. But anyway, I had the name. I actually have a background in the food industry. I started, I went to school of the arts for high school, and I started at Two Vine when I was like 17 as a busboy. Worked my way up to a food runner, bartender, server, the whole thing, and spent a chunk of my career, if you will, in the food industry. So I fell in love with hospitality and good food and cooking, and I met my wife. Got out of the industry as a bartender, started my own business in construction.
Wow.
Moved to New York with a mustache bottle opener product I created. And anyway, so I've done a whole bunch of stuff, but the food industry has always called me back. So here I am.
Mustache bottle opener, is that something?
Yeah, so I still wear the mustache. I actually was in the competitive area of competitive mustache and beard community.
Okay, wow.
I created a product. It was a piece of steel because I used to do metal fabrication. It was in the shape of a mustache. It opened your beer. So I grew out my mustache and started going to these competitions. And anyway, a whole nother chapter of my life.
What do you want to tell people? Where can we find you? Where can we get the schedule on when we can go to your pop-ups? How do we find the information on the Golden Egg as it's happening so we can get the best advantage?
So people are a little indifferent. Instagram is the profile we've chosen. We are on Twitter. We are on Facebook. But Instagram is where all the magic happens. We post live stories and feeds where we can find the Golden Eggs, where we're going to be popping up. Essentially, for right now, as it stands, we're going to be at the Blossom Road Pub every Thursday. We just took over a kitchen space, so keep your eyes peeled and see where we...
Plan on doing any kind of vegan options or anything, or you're sticking straight to chicken?
Well, chicken is our bread and butter, and I'm not trying to get fancy, and cater to everybody. Yeah. If you don't like fried chicken, get the F out. But no.
That's that New York attitude.
No, we do special menu items almost every week, and one of them was cauliflower, so It's a veggie option. It's not vegan, but we're trying to play with new stuff, and we got a lot of stuff coming. So
Adam, so much fun talking to you, man.
Yo,
Appreciate
man.
you coming
Pleasure.
in. Yeah.
And I brought this for you. So you get the egg, man. I need you in on a Thursday. Jump the line, free food.
Okay, $150 is the starting bid for this, people. This golden egg that Adam just handed me. Appreciate it, man.
Yeah,
Thanks
man.
a lot.
Pleasure.